Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the Rose of Venus. Today, I have David with us again after our last podcast. And so I think today we are going to just talk about everyday things. I have moved continent instead of in Europe. Now I am in America, but closer to my friends here. And so we are going to talk about how we see the world today, what we are going through, and whatever comes up. Okay? So, David, how are you?
Well, good afternoon. I'm doing great. It's a wonderful day. It's Wednesday. It's sunny. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes, yes. You know what? I have already been out. I have already left home for more than 1 month.
Okay.
It passed so fast.
Yeah. Have you traveled many miles?
Okay, I still need to convert the kilometers to miles.
Yeah.
But I don't know, from Vancouver to here in Fresno, California, how far away that is. I know I drove a lot.
Yeah.
To arrive in Fresno, I drove 14 hours.
Wow. So you got to see a piece of America.
I can be a truck driver, I tell you. If I'm not good with astrology, I can be a truck driver.
Hey,
That
look
I
at
can
that.
tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, has been really unreal.
Anything spiritual that you've seen on the way?
I don't know. I think sometimes we don't need to know it consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, on my way, I get to meet meet friends that
Mm-hmm.
we were just talking online. I'm much looking forward to meet you, brother,
Mm-hmm.
in physical. And like I met Sumati.
Yeah,
So
beautiful picture of you too.
she was the first one actually
Yeah. Yeah.
from the other side of the world that I met.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, when we hug,
Like an old friend.
yeah.
It's like, where have you been for so long?
And yeah, and that sensation, that hug, that physical hug
Mm-hmm.
was actually what I missed the most. The physical contact.
The energy.
We are human beings.
Yeah.
We are flesh and bones. Yeah. We are meant to touch
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah. Not separation. We're supposed to be together and understand one another and feel each other's vibrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the flow that I feel with her, and then later on with Ernie in Pasco in Washington State, and now here in Fresno with my mentor Jeanette, with Tin Ming and her family in Los Angeles. It's so unreal. It's so unreal. Is there the spirituality realization of that? I don't know, but I feel so good.
Yeah, so instead of the duality, and the separateness. You're getting to enjoy the togetherness and coming together instead of repulsing, which we see so much in the world. Yes.
It can be so easy, so much easier.
Yeah.
If we take out all the complicated things and social platform behavior, rule books that people follow that really can't understand.
So many people need to think from their heart, not from their mind, because the thoughts that are coming out of their mind, as a general rule, are polarity. You have a greater chance of coming, when you come through your heart, you're coming from a togetherness stage, and it is more meaningful, not only for the individual, but for all that you come in contact with.
Yes. And I think in this journey that I'm doing, I don't have a prescribed purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a date. I don't have a destiny. Whatever comes, comes. And when invitation comes, I can be there without too much stress. I would love to do it. And it's something I have great difficulties to accept, the unorganized part, the unplanned part. I think the same for you, because you are you are also very left brain. And just enjoying what the divine is giving us. And with your heart space, I want to bring us back to our last episode.
Okay.
When we were talking about of your boy, of your son,
yes,
of his miraculous recovery. And now I would like to go a little bit further down your path. Like after that, we know that you have joined the galactic astrology because of also given you more tools to understand what is happening around us, right? And how would you describe your latest? I mean, we may concentrate in the last 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, as you like. How you have shift.
Yes, 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 yes. Because what has happened for the most part I retired, I've been blessed enough to be able to retire, so I don't work anymore. And that had contributed to what I do. And what I do is I just be. I don't do anything anymore. I literally will wake up, go on my deck, and watch the birds. I have bird feeders, and I'll watch them for hours. And I'll just watch, how they fly. I'll watch how the leaves on the trees just go back and forth. I'll look at the sun and breathe in the deepness of the smells, from the fresh cut grass to the flowers. And during this time, as I'm doing that, even though I'm just being, I am actually doing, because as I'm being, my consciousness is expanding, and it's making me look at different issues from different perspectives. Where I may have just looked at it straight on, I'm looking at it from the right, from the left, from above, from below. So it gives me a greater understanding and a greater depth to what I see or feel in front of me. And because of that, it's opened up many, many, many doors. I mean, years ago, I would have never thought of anything in the metaphysical or spiritual world. To me, that was Being left brain, that was not important. What was important was to do, be, accomplish, have a task list, do everything and anything. And then it was like I felt like a rat on a treadmill. Is that every Monday was the same, every Friday was the same, every weekend was the same. Trying to pack everything into the weekend. Come Friday at 5 o'clock, rushing around to do everything. Friday and then Saturday trying to do everything, and then Sunday about 2 o'clock I would get depressed because just the thought of having to get ready for work the next day. So there was never any time to be. So now that I'm retired, I not only have gotten into astrology, which I never have done before. I've been doing a lot of pendulum work. I've been doing a lot of reading from A to Z. I've read almost all the world religions about where they're at. I've read up on historical things. I've read up on myths. And I'm reading and doing a lot as far as not only being, but then also doing to go along with the being, to just expand my consciousness and expand myself, because every day, every single day when I wake up, I challenge my assumptions. I challenge my beliefs, because what was true yesterday does not have to be true today. If yesterday was a rainy day, don't say, oh, it's raining work. And if it was rain, say, wow, look at the beauty of rain. You go out there, the raindrops on you, feel so cool, so nice. So what I've been able to do is explore myself on a spiritual aspect, find out about myself, do energy work to clear pain from myself and others, to remove negativity and fill the body, whether it's the physical body, the mental body, the astral body, the etheric, to fill it with positive polarity and fill it with love and light. And as simple as that sounds, it's amazing that I wish I would have known about this at the age of 5, and I wish our school systems taught this, because a lot of problems, trauma, issue that I had throughout my life would probably never have happened because I was on the right path at the age of 5. So now what I try to do, I have a 6-month-old granddaughter who's amazing. I can see already she's an advanced being. So when I'm talking to her, I'm talking like I'm talking to you. There's not this goo-goo dada. It's good morning. How are you today? What are your plans? Now, I haven't been able to do this, but my wife does telepathy with her. It just happens. So I've been told by many people that my granddaughter is going to be an advanced being. And it was told to me 5 years ago before she was born. So my goal now is what I just said. I didn't have the tools or know the tools when I was 5 to go ahead and embrace those tools, utilize them, and then grow. So my goal now, being retired, and my wife being retired, is to nurture and grow our granddaughter, and people that we come in contact with around our granddaughter expand their horizons.
Yeah. I have the privilege to have done a number of birth charts for a boy that was 3 months old, another boy who was 3 years old, and his brother around 7 years old. And looking at the charts, in comparison with our charts, the energy that I felt when I was doing the chart is so different.
Mm-hmm.
So different.
Mm-hmm.
And just to talk about one thing, for instance, we have a lot of karma, right, from our past.
Yes.
We bring with us either personal, ancestral. We bring with us a lot of karma, and major part of our life actually is to clear that, right? To understand that in order to reclaim our sovereignty, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if I need to put a percentage of our personal karma or the collectives. I would say also like us, just to have a general idea that we would something between the 60% to 80%. And then maybe we may have 20% as the collective and how to help our world to shift into a newer paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
And these new children, they have virtually nothing.
Yes.
They are so new, and it just confirmed what we have been knowing, that they
Yeah.
come in the clearing. We have done our job in helping our planet to
Mm.
heal, to shift, to move. And we have prepared the ground for the diamond children, for the crystal
Yes.
children, so they can come in with a soul that is so pristine,
Yes.
so fresh,
Yes.
and there's so much hope in them.
Yes.
And I really wish that parents and grandparents like you that know that and try not to push them into the same old
That's it.
way of how we have grown up into the school system, to have good marks, to be excellent in sports, to be competitive, and instead of enjoying their life,
Yep.
bring out the true gift that cannot be put into our little boxes.
So true.
That is not say this skill is not useful for you when you grow up to earn money. That is the first worst advice we have been given by our parents. Don't do that. You won't earn your living.
We start off with negative things and we tell them that don't do that. Don't, instead of focusing, let me back up. Our thoughts create reality.
Yeah.
If our brain is always worried, oh, my child, they're going to get hit by a car, they're going to meet a pedophile, they're going to be fall down. If we're thinking the negative thoughts, we're creating that reality instead of saying everything is great, everything is wonderful. Now, it's possible negativity can happen, but the chances are reduced drastically by focusing on the positives. And most people don't. In fact, one of the biggest problems with this last generation, because I have two sons in their 30s, but they weren't diagnosed with this, but many of their friends were diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. I think both of those diseases are for the most part BS. And the reason they're BS is that kids today don't learn like you did, like I did, like my parents learned. It's different. The problem is the system, whether it's the school system, the religious system, the social system, none of them are keeping pace with these children. So it's not the children that have dysfunctions, the children that have problems, it's the adults.
Yep.
But our system isn't structured like that. Us, the honorific, the older people know better than the younger, and that's changing with especially these new young children that are coming on this planet.
That 3 years old boy, his chart show exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he has now. I don't remember really quite clear of the houses, but I one of the detail was his Mercury was constrained, was intercepted, that he couldn't express normally, but he has a tendency that through intuition and connection with his higher self, that shows
Yes.
that he would be a much happier kid if he can be somewhere close to the ocean.
Yes.
That is his calling, to be
Yes.
somewhere close to the ocean, to be somewhere free, that is not constrained to sit behind a desk.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't put this, like if he had to go through a normal school system to sit there 8 hours, he would be labeled, quote unquote, as difficulties and all that signals that you have been saying. But is that really? I mean, and now that his parents realized that,
Yes.
they were actually saying, you're right. When he was by the seaside, He was
He's
so
happy.
happy.
Yes.
And I really hope that many more parents get to realize that. Doesn't really need to go to an astrologer or whatever to know what's about their kids, but try to understand them as who they are and giving them the environment that can bring out the best in them.
Yes. Yes.
Really, and that is my biggest hope for the new generation. Yes. And before you were saying like also that your everyday life is just flowing, accepting of what's even the weather. You start raining, you just enjoy the rain. And I think we have come a long way in accepting that and hearing that inner voice in us that there's no rush.
True.
There's no to-do list. And like when I was come back from Tin Ming House from LA where I was host for 2 days, and on my way back I have the ambitions to go to visit Sequoia National Forest.
Yeah.
And on the way, and I started to feel a certain heaviness in me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And I make 2 wrong turns with following Google Map. That actually never really happened to me. I follow to the second. I hardly ever get a wrong turn. And just already these 2 wrong turns was telling me, do you really need to go to Sequoia?
Yes, you were listening.
Yeah. And then I start to feel really heavy in me. While I was driving through the Hungry Valley, the grapevine, and I saw this sign of Pyramid Lake. Oh, what an interesting name. I said, just go down. Yes.
It's on my desk.
And I saw pyramid. And I said, oh, well, it seems that I won't be able to go to Egypt for a long time. I might go to Pyramid. And so I go down. It's a national park. There was during weekday, not many people, apart from 1 or 2 fishermen go fishing there in the lake. But it was virtually deserted. No one. I found my spot a little bit under the shadows, under the tree. And when I walked down into the lake, into the water, I just started to cry. I mean, heavy. I think somehow like going, okay, I go back. Like from the day I left from Italy, I had never had a chance to really contemplate what I was feeling. I was so busy with my sister's family in Vancouver, and then we went to Niagara having fun, and then I drive, meeting here and there, until one moment, I think that was the moment, say, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do any meditation during the whole period.
Yeah.
And I miss that. Like
I was going to say, I think one of the challenges, not only for you, but most women, you're so used to taking care of others. I mean, I look at my own wife. I mean, takes care of me, takes care of the children, takes care of the granddaughter, takes care of friends. So your mind is normally, your mind and heart is geared towards others, and most women come last. And I think, especially with the divine feminine being anchored on earth now, I think the biggest thing for every woman is to go inside and take care of themselves first. And that's the big important thing. Men or boys have to learn to take care of themselves and nurture themselves, because we all have the masculine and feminine, but because all the different societies push that down. A man's a man, a woman's a woman. You stay in the kitchen and cook. You just do, but don't be. Even when you have 15, 20, 30 minutes, don't be. You still got to do. And society, whether it's American, whether it's Italy, or whether it's somewhere else, societies force you to do or be superwomen for what they want you to do, not a superwoman for yourself.
And anyway, yeah. And so at that moment, there were like far away a few fishermen at fishing, and fishermen, don't call them fishermen, they just fish, all right? And I was turning away. I just don't want them to think, oh, these crazy people come here and cry. But oh my God, like with my feet in the water and feeling the energy of the water, which is already a symbol of emotion, the whole thing just swelling up from my feet and up and up. I think I cried quite a long time. And then doubt start to come in. What are you doing here?
Yeah, that's.
Where are you going? Why are you here by yourself? Actually, look around you. You are in the middle of nowhere. No one know you. Why I am here? And all these questions that no one can answer, not even I can answer, not even the divine can answer, I don't think. and also bringing in what I have saw in the last month, moving into a world that is not of my own, right? And seeing, well, fortunately, more or less all our friends and family, they are in a good place, that having a quote unquote secured and stable home setting. But then in LA, with all these pristines, all these perfect houses and streets and stuff, going to Santa Monica, and so chic. We are in the best seaside, with the homeless, every corner. And our world is so unjust.
Yes.
People like them to arrive at that stage being homeless. We don't know this stuff.
And many people that are homeless didn't choose to be homeless. Most people who have things are well off think homeless, oh, what did they do wrong in their life? What happens with many homeless people, especially these days in America, everything is so expensive where you can't afford rent. So if you're making low wages because that's what the economic system allows for, then how do you survive if you're making, let's say, $5,000 a month, which is a decent salary years ago, but when you take out federal and state taxes, which is roughly 35% of that, and you look at rent for a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm talking about my area in Maryland, I'm talking low end, very low end, of about $1,500 to $3,000 a month. So people are homeless, not that they don't want an apartment or a house, not that they would not pay the rent or mortgage, but the economic dollars that they're receiving for their work is not matching. And that's the problem in America, especially when you have the top 1% owning so much of the country, that I'm sure whether we call it source, spirit, God, whatever, did not intend for this to happen on this planet this way. But greed and evil has allowed this to happen. And this planet, I call it economic slavery, because I can't go out there and say, I'm going to go do this work. Oh, do you have a license? Do you have a permit? This is Earth. What makes you own the whole planet? So the problem is, every place and I'm speaking America now, every place in America, small town, small city, big city, there's homeless. Why is it today that someone can't get medical care? Because the state doesn't want to take funding from the federal government. That's insane. We pay taxes. So I think the problem or the issue that's happening, especially through transformation, truly we the people are taking back the government. And it's starting now, but these youth, like my granddaughter, will change that. No child should go to sleep at night hungry. None. No child should have to sleep in the streets. No child should die because they couldn't get medical attention. But it happens in the thousands every day. And going back to spirituality, that's why so many people, they may be religious, but they're not spiritual. Because spiritual comes from the heart. For the most part, religion is dogma.
Yes. Yeah.
And no God that I know tells you to be fearful. If you sin, you're going to go to hell. No. If you think you did something wrong, the hell is your conscience saying next time you need to do better. Because as you know, from a spiritual perspective, it's karma. So when you do bad things, you build up karma. So how do you avoid karma, or how do you pay it back? You come from your heart.
Yes. Yeah. That I totally agree. That I don't even know. I actually think that whatever that we have done wrong, like, we can't pretend we are this perfect person, always have done the right thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the lesson is not in our life is not to be perfect, because there is none. When it's
only
so
source
perfect,
is perfect.
Well, the perfection itself is already a definition that is out of balance, I think. And us as a human being, we are meant to experience, to feel, to go through certain lessons in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we have done wrong, the karma that we build, okay. But there is always a way to say, okay, have you learned it or not? If you have learned it, how would you change it? That is the difference between what is spiritual to what is not. If you give your heart and know that you have done wrong to a person or to an issue, you can give back. It's a choice. We are always talking about free will here. If you want, you can amend. You can apologize sincerely to the person that you have hurt. And that would be the clear of your karma without saying you are sin, that you go to hell.
One of the things I do, if I've done something, let's say I've done something wrong to you, I will come back and say, please forgive me, please bless me, and please release me. And if what I try to do is focus in on those things of taking responsibility for anything I did, whether I initially did it unconsciously or I did it consciously. But when I became aware of something that in my mind was not the right course to take, I tried to then make amends for that with the person that I may have done something wrong. Because I may say something to you, I use this phrase, message sent is not necessarily message received. And that's the problem in this world, because people say, well, I told you that. Well, no, explain what you said, because what you said is not how I'm interpreting it. So what I try to do with people, and it really helped by traveling the world, was if I said something to you, I said, Akata, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we're going to do X. And I'll say, repeat back to me what I said. And you say, well, tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I said, no, it's 3 o'clock. So what I try to do is mitigate, minimize issues and not assume, because what does the word assume spell when you break it down? So I try to clarify things. And also, if I've done wrong, I'll tell someone, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that from my heart. So I then try to do the introspection to find out, why did I do that? Was it an unconscious response I did that was not the right thing to do, or was it conscious? Because so many of us, we're so used to, we're like trained monkeys. And I could speak for myself, being 66 years old, is there's many things I do, like breathing, I don't even think about it. So now if I feel myself starting to get upset, I create the space for myself to say, okay, take a few deep breaths, David. Okay, calm down. And if something upsets me, I try not to talk to the person when I'm upset. The next day I may say, well, Akata, yesterday you said something to me and it made me feel bad. I don't know if that was your intent or not, but I'm letting you know this is how I feel. So please don't do that again. And I think if more of us did that to each other, it would reduce like that the confusion, the inability of many, or the inability of all of us on many occasions, not to see the other person's point of view from what you're saying or doing. Because I may think I'm doing a great deed, and I'll give you an example, perfect example. Me being who I am, I've always been a giver throughout my life. So I may say, okay, I'll do for you, I'll do for the next person. And when people would offer to do something for me, I would say, no. And the reason I would say no was, I would say, well, they have little money or little resources, and whether the resources is time or money, I would say no. And then one day a wise person pulled me to the side and said, you know, David, you're always doing for others, but by you saying no, it's a smack in the face to other people. Because now they feel like they're not worthy enough in your presence so now if anybody offers me something, thank you very much, I appreciate it. And I do appreciate it. Where before it was just my mental programming, I couldn't do that. And since I started doing that, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
Well, you actually remind me one little episode between me and you. I think that was the beginning of our knowing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a series or one or two posts reply and response, I realized that I was being too direct. Maybe up to a point that after I reread it, I would think, oh, you are aggressive unnecessarily. And I wrote to you, did I? I say, did I mean that? I think that is already like, is another example to say how much I treasure that person in front of me. If I think I have done something wrong, even with or without intention, really doesn't matter. But do I treasure this person? If I do, I will try to make things clear before it get really upset. And the fact that I was already thinking it is already a good indication. That was it, right? And so, calm down, Akata. and in a way that you were helping me to understand, that polarity of masculine and the feminine side of us, and which is already perfect. And I think that is what we are intending when the spirituality is not so much how much you know, how many books you read, how high you can go through the cosmos and in connection with the ascended masters or with the ET, with the Arthurian or whatever. But here and now,
Yeah, that's why we're here.
how you honor the person that you are,
Mm-hmm.
how you behave.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you show your love in every senses? And for me, that is the real spirituality, to be here with our feet really on the ground, to do good. To do good.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, there are people have a whole list of things that you should do, should not do, and whatever that is. And for me, the first universal law that is for here, for outside, for whatever cosmic space that we have, the first one is do no harm.
Mm-hmm.
With that, we can go everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a true statement. And again, we're not taught this in our schools, going back to our earlier conversation. All these skills that we learn later in life, just think how powerful we could be as individuals, as groups, as communities, if just what we're talking about now, if this was a normal way of people dealing with life.
Yeah. Oh. But anyway, so thank you for that episode that we get this exchange and helping me to understand a little bit more of myself. We think we understand ourselves, but there's always some aspect that out of our understanding and consideration. And yeah. And okay, to finish today's episode, today podcast, how would you title it, and how would you summarize it?
I would say a journey.
Yes.
A journey.
I think the journey itself, okay, I'm doing it physically.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the journey that we don't even move our body. And we do it with our consciousness.
Yes.
And this journey for being who you are, like as a grandparent, as a
And
father.
awareness, the journey and awareness, because you can have a journey, but if you're not aware, because it's like an old saying, what is wisdom? Wisdom isn't just knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge as an experience, because now you have something to base it upon. And that wisdom could be telling somebody something that will keep them out of harm, or something that will keep them in abundance. It's just, you have the, if I read a book all day long, if I read 100 books on baseball and it told me how to hit a ball, but if the skills I have are nothing, I can be the most read baseball player around, but no skills. And the skills are experience. And unfortunately, many people don't have the knowledge, whether it's book knowledge or audio knowledge or screen knowledge, to go along with the experience, to base their decision upon, because all wisdom is the amount of knowledge and experience you have at that point in time. And then tomorrow you have that much more experience, because whatever happened in that 24 hours. And that goes back to that challenge of assumptions, because then people don't update their brain, their computer bank here and in their heart. So they don't update it with the new information that they receive. So they're still stuck. It's almost like Windows 1.0, and they're not on Windows, what is it, 12 or 14 now?
I don't know. Stuck. I stopped update.
But the thing is that people are on it's almost like an old 8-track. They're not around anymore, but people now expect it to be an 8-track.
Yep. And that is always the the message is. When you don't have the heart to bring out the movement, the actions, and
the other thing is with that awareness, the journey to awareness, is all of us need to not be afraid to take a leap of faith. Whatever that leap of faith is, just do it. Because if you don't take the leap of faith, you're guaranteed the same old life or the same old experience. You know what that's like, anything. But take a leap of faith. And I use myself as an example. 5 years ago, I would have never taken galactic astrology. Oh, that's for people that are woo-woo. That's crazy. That's the sun ain't, it's not telling me anything. But I took a leap of faith, and I'm a much better person. So I try to take leaps of faith, and at least if I now, of course, I'm not going to try everything. I'm not going to say I'm not going to jump off the Empire State Building. But for the most part, most realistic, I'll call it, not rational, realistic thing, I'll take a leap of faith. If a good example, if I'm in a foreign country and they're eating monkey brains, okay, which I've had, fried monkey brains, I'll try it. And the first time, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'll say, at least I tried it. I don't like it. Instead of me making the assumption, oh, I don't like monkey brains. Why? Well, did you try it? No. Well, how can you don't have the experience. You have the knowledge, but not the experience. So that's what I try to do every day, is gain the knowledge and experience in an area where I feel I want to grow.
And, well, this journey that I am undertaking, more faith than that, I don't know what you can call. And yeah, faith.
But just look at yourself. Just by taking this journey over the last month or so, is look how much you've grown. And when I say grown, in areas that you may not have before. I mean, when's the last time you saw somebody's house where they had a garden right in front? That something as simple as that was a new experience. Now you'll remember it both in your head and your heart. The sunsets that you've seen, the lake, Pyramid Lake, you didn't have that before. So just these little things, look how it made you grow.
The unknown is scary. We tend to, as long as we can, always to hold on to what we know. Doesn't really matter it's good or bad. Sometimes we even acknowledge that it's bad or negative. But many of us would still try to hang on to the unknown, to the known, to the old, to where we came from, instead of going out to our comfort box, comfort zone. But then again, the unknown is exciting. That is so much. And I really try not to put an expectation that who I need to meet, where I need to go, when I should be there, or what. I'm done. That if Akata was someone that have to organize everything, plan everything, and this time I say, don't plan. Something will turn out, and who knows? Who knows what will happen? And yeah, and with that, I would say thank you as always. That is always a loving, a lively conversation. And maybe we will have some more. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us, and see you next time. Thank you.